I had not been home in 3 months. Work, distance, and a desire to avoid unnecessary drama had kept me away. Yet, that Friday evening, after an exhausting week, something pulled me back to the old house. Maybe it was nostalgia. Maybe it was guilt. The drive was quiet, the road unusually empty, and my thoughts wandered to memories of my childhood. That house wasn't just brick and stone, it was a place where birthdays had been celebrated with laughter, where I had once hidden under the staircase during games of hide and seek, where my late grandmother's perfume still lingered in the curtains. But as I turned onto the street, something strange caught my eye. Light. Too much light. My house glowed like a carnival. The front lawn was filled with parked cars, headlights reflecting off the wet pavement. Music boomed faintly from inside. I slowed down, confused. My house was alive with celebration. For a second, I thought I had made a mistake. Maybe this wasn't my house. But the towering oak tree in the yard, the cracked path leading to the porch, the familiar red mailbox with chipped paint, it was mine. I parked across the street, cutting the engine, and just sat there. Staring. Strangers, yes, strangers, were stepping out of cars, fixing their jackets, smoothing their dresses, and walking straight into my home as if they belonged there. The front door was wide open, laughter spilling out into the night. And not a single one of them even glanced my way. I stepped out of my car, the cool air brushing my skin, carrying the smell of rain and perfume. My heart pounded. At first, I told myself it was a mistake. Maybe my family had planned a surprise and simply forgotten to tell me. Maybe. But as I reached the porch, reality hit harder. Inside, balloons floated against the ceiling, tables were set with food and drinks, and a giant banner stretched across the living room wall. Congratulations, Marcus. Marcus. My cousin. The shock almost knocked me backward. They were throwing a celebration. In my home. For him. I stood frozen at the doorway, watching as people clapped, laughed, and raised their glasses. I saw my parents at the center of it all, smiling proudly, and my sister standing beside Marcus as if he were the star of the family. Nobody noticed me. Nobody. For a few minutes, I just stood there in disbelief, until finally a voice cut through the noise. Wait, look who's here. Heads turned. A hush fell. Dozens of eyes landed on me. Some smiled nervously. Others whispered. My mother's face stiffened, as though she had been caught in a crime. My father's jaw tightened. Alara, my mother said, walking forward, her hands wringing nervously. We didn't expect you tonight. Didn't expect me? In my own home? What's going on here? I asked, my voice sharper than I intended. Marcus himself stepped forward, smug in his tailored suit, holding a champagne glass. Oh, cousin, he said, flashing a grin. We're celebrating my promotion. Big news, you. No. And your house, well, it was the perfect venue. The perfect venue. My house had become their party hall. And I? I wasn't even on the guest list. I looked at my parents, my sister, the cousins, the friends, all of them avoiding my gaze. Betrayal burned in my chest like acid. So you planned all this, I said slowly, without even telling me? Without even inviting me? Don't make a scene, my father said sharply, his voice like a whip. It's just one night. Don't ruin it. One night. One night in the very place that was supposed to be mine. Marcus raised his glass again, ignoring my anger. Come on, Alara, don't sulk. Join the celebration. Laughter rose around the room again, but now it was mixed with tension. I felt like an intruder in my own home. And deep down, I knew something wasn't right. This wasn't just about a promotion. It was about pushing me out. Replacing me. and they wanted me gone. As the music swelled, as people clapped for Marcus, I stood at the edge of the crowd, invisible and unwanted. But I wasn't going to leave. Not tonight. If they thought I would stay silent, they were wrong. Because I was about to uncover why this celebration really existed, and why I hadn't been invited. And the truth would shatter everything. I stood there, half hidden in the shadows of my own hallway, watching my relatives laugh and cheer around Marcus. Every corner of the house felt foreign. My grandmother's piano had been pushed against the wall to make space for the buffet table. Her portraits that once watched over me, had been replaced with tacky decorations and gold streamers. Nobody asked me if they could do this. Nobody respected what the house meant to me. I clenched my fists, but for the moment I swallowed my words. I drifted to the back of the room, listening. Marcus is really the pride of the family now, an aunt whispered loudly enough for me to hear. He deserves everything. Much more than, well, you know. The way her eyes flicked toward me, the way her lips curled, it was clear who she meant. The anger burned hotter. I moved into the kitchen, where my sister, Evelyn, was arranging glasses. When she saw me, she froze. "You shouldn't have come back tonight," she hissed. "Excuse me?" My voice was low but sharp. "This isn't about you, Alara. Stop making it about you. Marcus earned this. He deserves the spotlight." "In my house?" I shot back. "Without even asking me?" She rolled her eyes. "You're always so dramatic." Mom and Dad agreed. "Besides, you're hardly ever here. It's not like you use this place." Her words cut deeper than she realized. That house was all I had left of belonging, of my grandmother. I had spent nights alone in its silence, fighting the feeling of abandonment. And here she was, dismissing it like it was a rental hall. I left her there, choking on my fury. The celebration raged on. Marcus gave speeches about his future, his success, how he would take the family name higher. My parents beamed as if he were their own son. Something gnawed at me. Why this house? Why not a restaurant, a hotel ballroom, or even his own place? I slipped upstairs, away from the crowd. The upstairs hallway was quieter, darker. I paused at the study door, my grandmother's study. It was locked. Strange. That door was never locked. I crouched, searching the frame, and noticed fresh scratches near the lock, as though someone had forced it shut. My pulse quickened. Downstairs, laughter echoed. Glasses clinked. But here, in the silence of the upper floor, secrets were being hidden. I pressed my ear against the door. Faint voices carried through. Marcus's voice. And my father's. "Are you sure she doesn't know?" Marcus whispered. "She's clueless," my father said, his tone firm. "Tonight is about solidifying everything. Once the papers are signed, she won't be able to contest." My stomach dropped. Papers? Contest? What were they talking about? I stumbled back, the floor creaking beneath me. The voices stopped. For a terrifying second, I thought they'd heard me. But after a pause, the low conversation resumed. I retreated silently, my mind spinning. This celebration wasn't just a party. It was a cover. Something bigger was happening, something that directly involved me. And I was the only one not meant to know. I returned downstairs, trying to mask my shaken expression. People danced now, Marcus spinning Evelyn across the living room like they were king and queen. I grabbed a drink just to steady my hands. An old neighbor patted my arm awkwardly. "Aren't you proud of Marcus?" he asked. I forced a thin smile. Thrilled. But my heart thundered. I slipped outside to the porch. The cold air hit my face, grounding me. Across the street, my car sat under the dim streetlight, as lonely as I felt. Then I saw it. Through the living room window, Marcus and my father disappeared upstairs again. Nobody else noticed. They were too busy laughing, drinking. I knew then I couldn't let it go. Whatever was happening in that study, it was about me. About my future. About this house. I slipped back inside quietly, weaving through the crowd, and crept upstairs once more. This time, I didn't hesitate. I pressed my ear harder against the study door. "The will is clear," my father said. "But if she challenges it, things get messy." Marcus chuckled. "She won't. She doesn't have the spine. Besides, the celebration itself makes it obvious, everyone supports me, not her." My breath caught in my throat. The will. My grandmother's will. This wasn't just about Marcus's promotion. It was about inheritance. About the house. About everything my grandmother had left behind. They weren't just celebrating him. They were erasing me. I couldn't stay silent anymore. I shoved the door open. My father and Marcus spun around, eyes wide. Papers were spread across the desk, legal documents, stamped and signed. "What the hell is this?" I demanded. "Alara," my father barked. "You shouldn't be here. This is my house." My voice shook with rage. "You're forging deals behind my back. In my own home?" Marcus smirked, calm as ever. "Oh, cousin. Don't be so dramatic. It's not betrayal. It's practicality. You were never cut out for responsibility. The family agrees this house should belong to someone who can use it properly. And that someone is you?" I spat. He shrugged. "Clearly." I turned to my father. "And you're siding with him? Against your own daughter?" His silence was the answer. His silence broke me. Downstairs, the music faltered. People had heard the shouting. Feet shuffled, whispers rose. Soon, faces appeared at the door, wide-eyed and curious. "Good. Let them see. You planned this celebration not for his promotion," I said loudly, voice echoing in the hall. "You planned it to humiliate me. To sign away what's mine, what Grandma left me. To erase me from this family." Gasps rippled through the crowd. My mother stepped forward, pale. "Alara, please." "No," I cut her off. "Not this time. I won't stay silent. You all think I'm weak, that I'll disappear quietly. But you're wrong." I grabbed the papers from the desk, holding them high. "These documents won't hold. Grandma's will was airtight, and I'll fight every one of you in court if I have to." Marcus lunged forward, but I stepped back. "Touch me and you'll regret it." The room crackled with tension. For the first time, Marcus's smug mask slipped. My father's face reddened with fury. But I didn't flinch. Over the next hour, chaos erupted. Guests whispered among themselves, some slipping out in discomfort. My mother sobbed, begging me to lower my voice. Evelyn snapped at me, defending Marcus. But something remarkable happened too. A few relatives, ones I thought didn't care, came to my side. They whispered that they had always suspected foul play. That Marcus manipulated, that my father favored him unfairly. The cracks widened. The celebration crumbled. By midnight, the banner hung half-torn, the food lay untouched, and Marcus stormed out in a rage. My father followed, his fury trailing like smoke. Only my mother lingered, her face streaked with tears. "Alara," she whispered, "you don't understand." "I understand perfectly," I said coldly. "And you should understand this, I'm not leaving. This house is mine. This legacy is mine. And I won't let you take it from me." The days that followed were war. Lawyers were called. Documents examined. Every hidden detail of my grandmother's will surfaced. And the truth came out: Marcus and my father had tried to alter the inheritance illegally, hoping I'd never notice. The celebration was meant to distract, to cement Marcus as the rightful heir in the eyes of everyone. But they underestimated me. The fight was brutal, but I stood my ground. And when the judgment came, it was clear: the house, the legacy, the rights, it all remained with me. Marcus's reputation crumbled. My father's influence fractured. The family that once celebrated in my home scattered in shame. And me? I stood alone in the quiet of my house once again. But this time, it didn't feel lonely. It felt powerful. Because they threw a celebration in my home without me on the guest list. But in the end, I was the only one who belonged. If I like the video, please subscribe my YouTube channel Revenge Dharma Tales.